This is the PMP and the Snap. Sneak in a quick lesson into your busy schedule so you can pass that exam. Let's snap in. Hey, project people, you're listening to PMP and the Snap, the podcast that serves up project management know-how into snack-sized bites, just the way we like it. I'm your host, Kaye B, and today we're digging into a super practical process, estimate activity resources. Before we grab our clipboards and start dishing out tasks, let's do a quick rewind on where we are in the project schedule management journey. We're cruising through the processes that helps us plan, manage, and control the project schedule. Here's a refresher of the crew. Plan schedule management, define activities, sequence activities, estimate activity durations, develop schedule, and control schedule. But before we estimate durations, we have to answer one big question. What resources do we need to get the job done? That's where today's STAR process comes in. Estimate activity resources. This one is so important, it actually lives under resource management in the PMBOK, not schedule management. I know, a little twist in the plot, but stay with me. What is estimate activity resources? Let's break it down. Imagine planning a dinner party before you figure out how long it takes to cook. You'll need to know who's cooking, what ingredients you have, and what tools you need. That's what this process is all about. Figuring out what people, equipment, materials, and even space are needed to get each activity done. We can't estimate in a vacuum, so here are the inputs you need on hand. Project management plan. Specifically, you need the resource management plan and scope baseline. You also need project documents like activity list, activity attributes, assumptions log, and cost estimates. There's also enterprise environmental factors. Think availability of resources, market conditions, and organizational culture. And then finally, organizational process assets. Resource estimating policies, templates, and historical info from past projects. Alright, tool belt time. Here are the tools and techniques on what you use to get it done. Expert judgment. Sometimes you just need that seasoned PM, engineer, or subject matter expert to weigh in. Bottom-up estimating. Break down each activity into pieces, estimate resources at the smallest level, and then roll it up. Analogous estimating. Using historical data from similar projects. Fast and less expensive, but less precise. Parametric estimating. Apply unit rates. So, for example, we need one designer for every 10 pages of a brochure. Data analysis. This includes alternatives analysis, where you compare options like make versus buy or manual versus automated labor. Project management information systems. Tools like scheduling software or resource tracking systems. Think of Asana or Microsoft Project. And then meetings. Getting stakeholders, team leads, and estimators in one room to hash it all out. Once you've finished estimating, you'll walk with some pretty powerful documents or outputs. Resource requirements. This is what type and quantity of resources are needed for each activity. Basis of estimates, the why behind your numbers, assumptions, constraints, ranges, and confidence levels. Resource breakdown structure, a visual hierarchy of resources by category and type, and then project document updates. You may tweak your activity attributes and assumptions logs as you go. So, why does this process matter? Here's the deal. If you underestimate your resources, you're heading for burnout, bottlenecks, or budget explosions. If you overestimate, you might waste money or delay other work. Estimate activity resources helps you build a realistic, achievable plan that respects both your team's time and your sponsor's wallet. Plus, you can't create a real project schedule or estimate durations without knowing who's doing what with which tools and when. This process is a connective tissue between your plan and your people. Alright, let's recap. Estimate activity resources is part of resource management and helps you determine the type of quantity of resources needed per activity. Inputs include your project plan, activity list, cost estimates, and assumptions. Tools range from expert judgment to data analysis to estimate techniques like the bottom-up and parametric. And outputs include resource requirements, basis of estimates, and shiny new resource breakdown structure. And that's a wrap on another episode of PMP in a Snap. Whether you're estimating on how many developers it takes to launch an app or how many pizzas it takes to feed your project team during a late night crunch, it all comes down to resources, baby. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share your podcast with your favorite project buddy. Until next time, stay productive and keep those estimates real. Talk soon. There's a new PMBOK coming out this year, and that means the exam will change. Take the PMP exam before you have to learn all new content. Go to pmnotebooks.com to save time and money with a course that respects your schedule and delivers results.